Tansei, welcome to Metis Minute, your source for Metis news in Region 7. Welcome back, everyone. I am your host, Samantha Loney, and as you can see, I have my Métis Nation of Ontario hat on, my sunglasses, and this nice jean jacket. I am ready for this nice weather that is coming our way. As we know, in the winter months, some of us may be feeling a little down due to the lack of vitamin D, but as that sun comes out to greet us and give us those vitamins that we so vitally need, our moods are going to boost and we're going to want to actually go out and participate in community events. I spent the last month interviewing Métis politicians for the PC-MNO election, but when I went to the Kushkapai Arts Crawl in Gravenhurst, I was reminded just how important art is to our community. So I am glad to be back and giving you some more art content. As I mentioned, the sun is out and the weather is getting nicer. That means it's patio season, which is great for our local businesses who can open up their patios and expand their businesses to citizens. And because they're going to be getting much more customers, if they want them to stay, they are going to need to provide us with some sort of entertainment. Which is why today I am talking to Monica Loney and David Dino White, a local artist and musician who are going to be going on a Hoppy camper tour. Actually, they just completed their first weekend of the tour, so I'm going to ask them all about how that went and how it was received by the public. It is important that we support these indie artists because they are members of our community. As you will see later, they are lugging around their equipment, their materials, and everything that they're selling for purchase to the public themselves. They are a two-person team running this tour. You might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with civic journalism? On May 28th, the city of Barrie is going to be hosting a culture night to get feedback from the local arts community and citizens to find out how they could better improve the arts and culture in our community. And while we will be covering that and getting to know more about the civic side of our arts and culture here in Barrie, and I want them to tell me how their experience has been in Simcoe County with arts and culture, and if they think that we could get more support from the county, the local municipalities that they're visiting to help support these independent artists. So without further ado, here is my interview with Monica Loney and David Dino White.
Okay, so my name is Monica Loney. I am a visual artist from Barrie, and my work is ink on paper, and I like to focus on the use of the continuous line.
And my name is David Dino White, and I am a musical artist from North Bay, Ontario. And I write and perform original solo material, as well as play instruments in a bunch of other bands that are happening up north.
Cool. Yeah, so what is the Hoppy camper tour?
Take it away, Dave.
Nice. So we just both love really quality beer, and we talk about it a lot. And there's a big culture around like craft beer right now, and we came up with this idea that it would be fun to just use our art in tandem with our love for different craft beer to try and explore some of these different places and to share our art with people while doing so and connect that way. And landed on this idea that because some of these breweries are in more rural areas, maybe we could even bring my camper along and do it as one big thing. And then Hoppy Camper just kind of felt like such a good, just such a hooky title that truly, once we kind of landed on that, it was like, okay, well, now we have to do this.
Yeah, and so why combine, I guess, like the art and the music together?
I just think it's just such a unique thing. I haven't really seen it done before. You know, like,
Yeah, it just made sense. It's the same as like why you put different bands on a bill together, like performing at a show or something. It's to kind of share audiences as well as to inspire each other. Honestly, like when you see someone else connecting or doing well, or it just works like for both of us to share audiences, but then also for the audience to get to share in both of these options in terms of their entertainment. Like some people are really drawn to Monica's artwork and other people are really drawn to the music, and ultimately you just expand the kind of demographic or the potential audience for the show, and we can do it in the same amount of space with the same amount of resources as it would be if it was just one person and a guitar. Like it's just an extra person in the seat, an extra pad of paper in the car. So it's really, really useful that way. Really good collaboration.
Yeah, and maybe if you, because you both are beer lovers, but yeah, going and supporting these like rural, like you said, breweries, and like you're an independent musician and an independent artist yourself, like the collaboration. If you want to talk a bit about that, like bringing people to these places to support these businesses and also support like independent art.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, yeah, it would be a little bit like embellished if we claim to know the status of some of these places ahead of time. Like some of them, I would say, have been arguably larger operations than we anticipated, but also it is cool to go and connect with people who, like yesterday we were in Neustadt, and so many people were like, yeah, like we don't get a lot of music here, like people don't, like, why did you come all the way out here? And we're literally just like, because they hired us, like it's that like it's that simple.
we reached out.
And so it is I think just a very symbiotic relationship that way, like where the breweries, regardless of their size, if they see the potential, or I guess, that the art brings in terms of pulling people in, then really it's win-win-win. Like everybody takes something away from it, and I think that's all just to say that we're not playing places that didn't reply to the emails, you know? And I don't mean that in a facetious or like an egotistical way, but just like there is an understanding, like we end up in places where people appreciate art and they are small businesses and they do want to share in the struggle of like, just making something out of out of whatever's on hand.
Yeah, and you talked about, like the reception from some of these people where they, maybe don't get live music as often. Like, has, it been like a generally good reception? Because you did, this weekend play some places. Like, how has, like, the audience sort of responded to you guys?
I think really great. Like, I just didn't realize the amount of people, like, how much we'd be appreciated for what we did. I was just like, okay, music and art and live art. I'm not sure how it would be received, but it was actually really received with like open arms. It was really great. People were really intrigued at what we were doing and our story.
It's also a total gamble because a lot of these places are functioning breweries. So a lot of our audience is people that are there to buy beer. Like they're not there to scope out the music. They didn't see the poster posted or find the event online. They're just there having a beer. And it was really telling on our very first show. I was doing 3 sets at Canvas Brewing in Huntsville, Ontario. And as soon as I finished the first set, a whole bunch of people walked over and were like, okay, this is a window of time to like come and look at the art, and that draws them in to chat with me, who they otherwise might not approach, like especially when you don't have that visual element. And immediately it felt like, oh, this is awesome. This is really kind of bridging a gap that otherwise wouldn't have that facility.
How do you think, like, for indie artists, like, and you're going around to these different municipalities, and you did mention, like, one place didn't have live music. Do you think there's a way that, like, governments of like municipalities and like the county can help support like more of this going to those like rural places that don't have that, like would.
Yeah.
Grants
Yeah.
are huge. I think providing more funding we were lucky enough to have some money in the bank ahead of time and be able to do this, but I think a lot of indie artists or people starting out don't have that leg up, and if there's more opportunities to get grant funding, for the artists to be able to do this, as well as the businesses to be able to host and, hire local creatives.
Yeah, absolutely. The incentive financially is huge these days. Like it's really important. Just a tank of gas is double what it was literally 5 years ago. So we're very fortunate to have been able to align with people who align with businesses who not only understand that but who have the resources. And I know from experience in the past, we didn't admittedly have time to kind of follow up with organizations like SOCAN to see if there was money for something like this. But I know that there are small funds in place for Canadian tours and things that sometimes I think it has to be like out of province, but there are small grants that you can get that help with that sort of thing. And even in the context of thinking about trying something like this in the future or trying to bring this somewhere outside of Ontario, maybe bridging the gap between the East or the West, and that would be even more important then. Because right now we're blessed that we can function. It's basically power weekends.
Yeah.
We're doing like Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 3 different weekends, and so the nature of that is like we either have a place to stay or we have a camper that we can legitimately park at some of these breweries that are in the more rural areas and save money that way as well. So it'd be nice. I don't know if there's things that you can apply for after, I don't know if there's
Like an after, proactively, this, can I?
Yeah, subsidies or that sort of thing, or, but yeah, it definitely feels like, I've been doing this solo music thing for a little over 10 years now, and it is wild how inflation has affected everything in the world except like live music. Essentially, like a show at your local bar on a Friday night has been $10 since like 1972. So even for me, and I'm young, I think, relatively speaking, but 10 years ago when I was doing my first solo tours, if I made $100, that was like gas, food, like probably a couple of drinks if I was out with my friends or socializing afterwards. And even accommodations, like when Airbnb first fired up, I remember renting places for $55 a night. Like that was not that long ago, and everything is reflecting inflation right now except for the entertainment industry. And so again, like you said about talking to independent businesses, I think there's a real understanding of that, and a lot of the people, especially the younger people, truly, like the younger people are really generous and really supportive, and it's really cool to experience that, especially when you're from out of town and they're not your friends who you see, at that show you typically do once a month in your hometown. So
Like you can do stuff online, but do you find like actually being able to go in person and meet these? Because you could put your music up online, you could put your art up online, but to play these live shows and actually, like you said, after the set, they had no idea you were even going to be playing there, and then they come up and meet you after. Like, do you find that that's like a real, like the in-person has like a lot of value for?
I think for me it does. I think I feed off the energy of the people. And the whole purpose of me creating is to connect community. And I'm a huge public art advocate. I do a lot of public art as well. And it's all just about community engagement. So being able to create a piece live in front of people and kind of feel their energy and watch me do it, and then, just chat with them after and get to hear their stories and how my art has impacted them is like fantastic. It, like that fills my cup all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be a spectator as that's happening is really cool too. Like to see the way that, again, like I think that was one of the first points in this interview, is she draws in people for a certain type of art, and I draw in people for a certain type of art, and then when those people land, within talking distance of us, all of a sudden it's like it feels like a group conversation, and instead of this like one-on-one where it has to just be about one thing on the table. There's
Yeah, and it's nice
a little
to see
bit
the
more
two,
space.
Yeah, the two separate groups connect. The ones that gravitate towards stuff and then gravitate towards mine, and then have them have conversations with each other is fantastic. Like, I love that too.
Yep.
Yeah, and Monica, just because I already interviewed Monica about her art as well, but said like the community influences her art. For you, you do have your song on Terrible, but like how that like geographically has like where you are and where you go, like how does that influence your music?
I mean, it's something that I've learned performing on the road over the years is just to adapt to what the audience needs, and not like it's not about what I'm like in these contexts. Like, it's not a $20 ticket where I'm showcasing original art for a 40-minute set. Like, it's people are out and just enjoying, their long weekend, or they've invited, like maybe there's like grandkids in town and they're out for a conversation. So you have to adapt, and you have to have extra tools in your box in order to do that. Like, okay, well, this is an older audience, so I'm going to play, things that are going to connect to them, and I'm going to keep the volume down a little bit, because like this isn't a rowdy group of 20-year-olds that are out trying to like party this weekend. And I mean, it ties into what you were just asking about connecting with people. Like, that's got to remain the focus. Like, it's not about showing people how good we are at what we do. It's about showing people that anyone can do whatever they want to do and enjoy it and share it with people if that's the goal. And so, yeah, I think that facility just kind of, or that attitude, facilitates like building more meaningful connections and ultimately having a more enjoyable time, even if it doesn't feel like a concert or like a tour the way that most people imagine a touring musician or a touring artist performing.
If they're coming out to see you and they watch this and they're like, I do want to go down and see that one. What would they get?
For myself, I'll be selling a couple prints, all in one line, and then I'll be doing a few live drawings, so you can come watch the process from start to finish of how I create my continuous line art.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like you said, I kind of touched on how I approach my performing already, but I think that, like, as a broad statement, I would say to expect something that is a little bit more organic and a little bit less performative. We try really hard to engage with the audience and make it feel as close to like a fun living room hang as possible, where, maybe it's more about the conversation between the songs, and I'm happy to, play some covers that people know and let them have conversations and just go with the flow. Whereas it's just special to get to take this different approach and to play these different spaces, and more flexible.
And then for social media or online, if people can't make it out and they want to check out your stuff?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, so it's at beautifully.monica, and then I also have a website, which is www.beautifullymonica.com.
Yep, and I am very fortunate. There's not a lot of other David Dino Whites out there, so all of my internet presence is David Dino White at Gmail or .com or Facebook.com/ or it's all just my name. We definitely have lots of content on the internet if you are someone who's interested in pursuing or exploring that side of it as well.
I hope you're able to catch Monica and David on tour. We'll leave a little video of them performing at the end of this video, so you could check out a sneak peek of what you might be seeing. But if you're unable to visit any of these cities that Monica and David are going on their Hoppy camper tour, I hope this video was able to help open your eyes and allow you to maybe reach out to your municipality and tell them how important arts and culture is to the community. Not only are we helping to support these local indie artists, we're also helping to support the bars and local businesses that are hiring these musicians. Arts and culture in communities helps boost the local economy. Merci for watching, and we'll see you down the river.